Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Kokomlemle in Accra on digital address GA0993341 on Joy 99.7 FM. Is also live on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, affiliates across the country on ABN Radio in London and around the world at myjoyonline.com. The news is brought to you by Telesol 4G, proudly Ghanaian, Telesol, Just a Touch, and Mark Auto Parts Ghana, distributors of Isuzu and Chevy cars. Mark Auto Parts Ghana with you for the long run. Coming up in this edition, hundreds of residents of KEEA district of the Central Region displaced following heavy rains last night.
10:32 11. Motion so be midday mo. Nso so na problem dey. Nso kakra bi. Motion so for dem na TV, fan, fridge, mo phone.
We'll get details. Also, no school for many children in the Keta municipality of the Volta region as 8 communities are cut off following flooding at the weekend. We'll bring you more as displaced residents are yet to receive NADMO relief supplies. Minister for Works and Housing calls for probe into alleged misappropriation of funds for the Saglemi housing project built under former President Mahama.
The monies intended for the project has been spirited away with this kind of white elephant we're seeing.
And as race for NDC flag bearer elections heats up, some aspirants are urging delegates to reject former President Mahama, saying he cannot be trusted to deliver victory for the party in the 2020 elections.
If you lose elections from a position of strength, you don't come back from a position of weakness and assume that even though you lost from a position of strength, you are better placed from a position of weakness.
Now, if that kind of change continues all the way up to national level, why would you think that when it comes to the flag bearers, then the change will stop?
We also have sports.
And we'll hear from Kumasi Asante Kotoko coach Siki Akona as well as France in Kumasi going into their game against the Black Stars this afternoon.
Also, Trump meets Ye, and the world is talking.
So when I said I like Trump to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? I love this guy right here. Yeah.
We'll get more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apau. And we begin from the Central Region where hundreds of residents have been displaced following heavy rains in the Komenda, Edina, Eguafo, Abrim. That's the KEEA district. Some affected residents spoke to Joy News a while ago.
10:32 11. Motion so be midday mo. Nso so na problem dey. Nso kakra bi. Motion so for dem na.
Around 10 to 11 p.m., we were asleep. We woke up to discover the entire room was flooded. The fridge, the phones, everything. It measured up to the knee level. I think it's the gutter in the neighborhood. We are pleading with the MCE to fix the drain in the area. My name is Kwesi Penyi. We are really suffering.
You heard there some residents of the KEEA district. My colleague Richard Kojunyako has been following developments in the area and joins us with details. Richard, so what's the extent of damage? How serious is the situation?
Well, the rainstorm that lasted for over 4 hours has caused some incalculable damage. They are unable to put some figure or some money value to the homes, farms, and other source of livelihood of the people that have been destroyed. It's really an extensive damage, considering the fact that the electricity supply to the place had to be cut and people had to be put up with some relatives in neighboring communities, and it's really huge. But NADMO in the KEA municipality is faulting the residents for this disaster. They say piles of rubbish that are thrown into the drains have given birth to this disaster. Patrick Yeboah is the NADMO coordinator for KEA.
The little that I observed is about the drainage. We also need to change our mentality. You see, when there is a cloud, even if the rain is about to fall, what we normally do is that we put the refuse into the gutter. The idea is that, when it rains, it will wash it over. But sometimes, who knows what is going to do? Sometimes it will get to a certain point and it will choke just within the gutter, and that is the main problem we saw this morning, because the water didn't even get the full flow of the water. That is why it diverted its own way.
So that's the NADMO coordinator for the area. Richard, you've also been interacting with the MCE. He's also been blaming residents, but beyond the blame, what assurances has he been giving?
Well, the MCE wants residents to undertake communal labor to desalt the drains immediately. He says the assembly will help them reconstruct some of the drains that are broken and cover the drains as well to prevent them from putting heaps of rubbish in the drains.
In fact, I'm very much saddened because it's a very terrible scene. In fact, so many things have been destroyed. People's property and others. Even I went to a house whereby the children's books have all been destroyed. Mattresses. I also went to a place where there's a dressmaker who brought the items or the clothes of his clients to her house, and unfortunately, it has all got spoiled. In fact, it's a very great mishappening. In fact, I've come here with the NADMO director and his staff to come and see for ourselves what has really happened here, and I'm sure a comprehensive assessment will be done so that we also go to where we can get the necessary help to come and help the people, because they are in a very great what do I say, they are very much worried, and what has happened to them is in fact is more than I can say. But my advice to the people is, in fact, the way of behavior, they should stop dumping into the drains.
That's the MC for KEA, Mr. Pierre Krang. Now, from rainstorm in the central region, let's now look at flooding in the Volta region, because hundreds of school children in the Keta municipality may be unable to attend school for a long time following intense flooding that's cut off 8 communities from the rest of the area. Joy News has seen pictures of flooded homes, submerged roads, and residents moving around in canoes. This resident spoke to Joy News.
The school will be closed and the children are just moving aimlessly. They don't even have any place at all to do their homework, their class activities. So you can see some of them are passing in the community. It takes about 3 to even 4 good weeks. Yeah, that's 1 month before they come back to school. And it's teaching their learning process.
So that's the residents there. We're told that the Keta Municipal NADMO coordinator, God knows Blebo, says they are helpless as relief is yet to arrive from the headquarters for the affected. And we're privileged to have him join us on the line. Mr. God knows Blebo, thank you very much for your time here on the Midday News. So how come no supplies days after this incident? Hello, Mr. Blebo.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Thank you very much for your time once again. I'm asking how come you still don't have supplies days after this incident?
Yeah, good afternoon to our listeners, and good afternoon to all affected communities in the Keta municipality. Yeah, when it comes to the relief items, currently I'm speechless to mention what exactly be the cause why we could not receive relief items as of today that I'm speaking to you. I'm only thinking that it may be that because of a countless flooding and other disasters within this period, I'm thinking that maybe our regional or the national store is depleted of relief items. Because you can see the kind of the volume of relief items being released to the 3 northern regions and other parts of the country.
So that's your thinking, Mr. Blebo. That's your thinking about the depletion. You're thinking that that's what might have happened. But what exactly have you been told from the region and the national headquarters regarding the supplies? Have you been told anything at all?
Yeah, I've been told that they are working around the clock for the relief items to be released to the Keta municipality.
Do we know when?
But that one I can't tell unless you contact my regional director.
So how are residents coping as we speak?
You know, this is not the first time that this is happening to them. So they have adapted to the situation, I must say.
Interesting. Thank you very much for your time. That's the Keta Municipal NADMO Coordinator, God knows Blebo. Also, let's move away from flooding situations. You're still listening to the Midday News. You're on Joy 99.7 FM. The teacher who lashed a 4-year-old kindergarten 2 pupil for allowing someone else to do her homework has been suspended indefinitely. The girl sustained severe bruises on her arms and back after receiving hot cane lashes. The headmaster of the New Page School, Amorin Tobias, apologized to the girl's father and said it is not common practice for teachers to lash pupils in his school. He spoke with my colleague Maxwell Agbagba.
We don't use cane in teaching. Occasionally, if a child is so indisciplined, we use that light. And now my worry is I'm disturbed, I'm worried, I'm angry because severally I speak that we use cane to teach. We use cane as a pointer. What happened? I stand here now, I don't know what to say. So I had a meeting with the board, and conclusion was that I said must be suspended indefinitely.
You heard the headmaster of New Page School, Amorin Tobias, there. Now let's cross over to Akimoda in the Eastern region. So what you hear there are residents of the town protesting following the collapse of a bridge linking the community to the rest of the district. Armed police officers have been deployed there. The residents want the bridge and their bad roads fixed. We'll get to hear from these residents shortly. They've been complaining about this bridge for days now, and for weeks and months, they say. We'll get to hear from them because they've been protesting as a result of that. But as and when we're able to get to the community, we'll also hear from the residents. Meanwhile, away from that also, Minister for Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia, is demanding full probe into how funds were applied to the construction of the abandoned 1,500 Saglami housing project. He believes monies meant for the project were misappropriated, hence the need for the Economic and Organised Crime Office and the Attorney General to investigate. The first phase of the facility was inaugurated under former President Mahama in 2016 to address Ghana's housing deficit, but the apartments remains empty. But Mr. Atachia indicated until life essentials such as water and electricity are provided, it cannot be occupied.
The Seglame structure that we see over there is a huge trouble. If we should go into why it's not being inhabited, I mean, we'll go into crisis. But I can assure you that there's a challenge in terms of how the monies were faithfully applied to the project. Matters that the Attorney General will have to look at and Yoko should investigate. They do not have what we call the requisite infrastructure and amenities for people to go and inhabit the place. They do not have water facilities. They do not have decent drainage system. And therefore, the monies intended for the project has been spirited away with this kind of white elephant we're seeing. So we need to bring the proceedings to a close, get credible people to complete the structures, and then when we have the amenities like water, electricity, and sewage systems, people could go over there.
You heard the Minister for Works and Housing, Samuel Atachia. Now, managers of the Accra Mall are refuting assertions the first day's ceiling collapse was due to lack of maintenance of the facility. 3 persons were injured during the incident, prompting a tweet from President Akufo-Addo, who says, "I am disturbed to hear of the incident at the Accra Mall. Let us all work together to improve our maintenance culture. Speedy recovery to the injured." Now, speaking on the Super Morning Show, manager of the mall, Olympio Agboja, reviewed a report on the cause of the collapse is expected by close of day today.
You check for visible cracks, and if you see any, of course, you will presume that the structure is down.
The president tweeted yesterday. He made the allusion that this could be as a result of poor maintenance culture. Would you agree with this assertion?
No, I don't want to say I disagree.
Of course, because he's a person like the president. But
Accra Mall, we do regular maintenance. A year or 2 ago, we painted the entire mall. We did cracks, visible cracks on the building, and painted the entire building. We have our architect who obviously set for structural soundness. And what I told you about the December is that anytime we want to hang, we hang Christmas decorations. So we do visual effects. The ceiling that caved in is just about a tenth of the common area stretch. Just a tenth, very, very small portion of.
You heard the Olympia Agboja. He also told Daniel Dazi that portions of the affected area will remain closed until tomorrow.
The area that is cutting off, place about 6 tenants that have been affected. But then we are even trying to relocate them so they can trade.
How soon will these 6 shops be restored? I'm speaking of the shops themselves, not the relocation.
Oh, the shops themselves by tomorrow 8 o'clock. We should be down. Even when it happened, immediately, not more the police, the fire service, all the agencies were here, immediately. So safety-wise and emergency-wise, we are prepared. We've taken note of what has happened, and that we've taken measures to rectify it, and it shall not happen any longer.
That's Olympio there. He's the director for Accra Mall. Now, the Ghana National Fire Service says it suspected snap in some chains and metals holding the plasterboard ceiling at the Accra Mall and it caused it to cave in yesterday. Now, speaking to Joy News after some structural assessment at the mall, the Greater Accra Fire Service Commander Ebenezer Simpson stated that but for some trained fire warding at the mall, a stampede could have occurred, resulting in more casualties. Maxwell Agbagba is at the mall and joins us live on this. And Agbagba, what more can you report? It looks like we don't have Maxwell Agbagba joining us on the line. We'll get some more details from the Ghana Fire Service on this incident that occurred yesterday. Now, let's do some politics because the race to the main opposition NDC's election to select a presidential candidate is getting keener as two key contenders push for delegates to reject former President Mahama. 12 individuals have so far expressed the intention to contest Mr. Mahama, who was defeated by Nana Akufo-Addo in the December 2016 election. A former Trades and Industry Minister, Ekospi Ogabra, who wants to lead the party, tells Joy News a strong wind of change is blowing in the party.
But if you look at the 10 regional chairmen who endorsed President Mahama, you ask yourself how many of the 10 are left? Only 2, which represent the same 20-80 ratio that I'm talking about. So if 80% of the party are asking for change at the branch level, at the constituency level, at the regional level, and even at the national level, if you look at the executives who are standing, you find that almost 85% of them are looking for a different position than their current position. Because they've realized that if you try to stick to the same position and you don't change yourself, you'll be changed. So 80 to 95% of national executives are moving from chairman, vice chairman to chairman, are moving from vice chairman to national organizer, are moving from national communication officer to national organizer, are not even attempting to be chairman again or national organizer again. And there's a lot of movement, even for those who want to stay in. And many are not even standing for the election at all. So at the end of the national secretariat elections, you can verify and you can take this note and mark it that there will be at least an 80% change at the national executive level. Now, if that kind of change continues all the way up to national level, why would you think that when it comes to the flag bearers, then the change will stop?
Dr. Ekospi Ogabra is not alone. Another aspirant, Sylvester Mensah, is casting doubt over Mr. Mahama's ability to win the 2020 polls since he lost the previous election when he was president. He spoke on PM Express with Evans Mensah.
This is a situation where you have a sitting president who won an election, became president of the Republic of Ghana, contested an election from a position of strength, in control of all resources of this country, in control of the state apparatus and everything, had real command over the country. And so if you lose elections from a position of strength, you don't come back from a position of weakness and assume that even though you lost from a position of strength, you are better placed from a position of weakness. Indeed, the MPP as a political party is failing. But that does not mean that losing an election from a position of weakness, from a position of strength, is something that can be juxtaposed against winning.
NDC flag bearer aspirant Sylvester Mensah, but Deputy National Organizer of the NDC, Joshua Kamba, has meanwhile been defending Mr. Mahama's performance in the 2016 elections. Mr. Kamba, who is seeking to be elected as National Organizer, insists the party failed Mr. Mahama, pledging he will make the NDC stronger.
The roots of the party, we used to empower the party at the grassroots base.
I see.
And, every leader, the president currently, has his own way that he wants to see this country moving, the direction the country wants to move.
I see.
True. I think that my leadership had their way that they wanted to move it through. Mm-hmm. I will come with a different
So what will you do specifically?
That I will take this party back to the owners.
Who are the grassroots?
I'll give them back their party.
How will you do so?
I will take every activity of the party, hand it over to the party constituency executives.
Specifically which activities?
You heard there Joshua Kamba speaking to Raymond Akwa on the upfront. Now let's go back to the Accra Mall, where I told you that the Ghana National Fire Service says it suspects that a snap in some chains and metals holding the plasterboard ceiling at the Accra Mall caused it to cave in yesterday. My colleague Maxwell Agbagba has been speaking to the Greater Accra Fire Service Commander Ebenezer Simpson, and he joins us on the line live. So Maxwell, what more can you report regarding this visit by the Greater Accra Fire Service Commander?
Well, he went around together with his men to do a structural assessment of the affected area. I've seen some personnel of the National Disaster Management Organization. We are also learning 20 police officers have been deployed here to ensure order. About 7 shops around the affected area also remain closed, as some parts of the walkway at the mall has also been cordoned off to allow ongoing works. The Greater Accra Regional Commander, when I spoke to him, he told me that the suspect that some chains and metals holding the plasterboard ceiling actually broke, causing the ceiling to cave in. We can hear from him now.
We'll get to definitely hear from Mr. Simpson later on in our subsequent bulletins. But you heard there Maxwell Agbagba, my colleague, speaking to us live from the Accra Mall. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Stories we've covered so far. Hundreds of residents of KEA districts of the Central Region displaced following heavy rains last night. The situation is no different in the Keta municipality, where there's no school for many of the children, as 8 communities are cut off following flooding at the weekend. We heard from the Minister for Works and Housing, who is calling for a probe into alleged misappropriation of funds for the Saglemi housing project built under the former President Mahama. Still to come here on the Midday News. Trump meets Ye and the world is talking.
So when I said I like Trump, to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? I love this guy right here.
They need to grab him and snatch him up and get Kanye together, because Kanye needs help.
We'll get details of that plus sports after the break. Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. And Benedict Owusu is here with the latest from the world of sports. Benedict, what's in sports?
Hi, Irene. Happy birthday.
Hi, Benedict.
All right, so no AFCON qualifier for Ghana this weekend, but there is a big game in Kumasi. The Black Stars will come up against Asante Kotoko this afternoon at the Barbara Stadium. What makes the game special is this is the debut game for Coach Siki Akono taking charge of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and for Coach Kwesi Appiah, it serves as an opportunity to see some French players in the team. Well, ahead of the game, Siki Akono, coach of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, wants his players to stay calm.
It's funny you ask that question, because I told them not to kick. Because sometimes they're motivated because it's Black Stars, and they shouldn't do that. They should play football. They should try to understand what they're doing at every given time. And so I'm looking forward to that, and focus again is
Well, that's CK Akono, coach of Asante Kotoko. Well, lots of views have been shared on this friendly. Some are of the view that the game is not relevant, but others also think it will be a good exercise for the two teams. Here are some of them.
I know Kotoko is a better team. We have a quality players who can play better for us. We are going to win, to score them. Even 1-0 goal, we are going to score them, because I know my striker.
The Black Stars, they know say play go bring out something, at least make them test the team, make we see say if we day former. Then we already hope say no hard tackles and all that. But actually this might be should have been necessary for them.
This Kotoko Black Stars game, I don't see anything wrong with this match. I think it's good exercise for both teams.
All right, so the game is at exactly 4 p.m. at the Barbara Stadium. Join us at 1 here on Joy FM. There'll be more sports with George Adu Jr. on Locker Room. We'll tell you about how Usain Bolt scored 2 goals in his first professional game as a professional footballer.
A weekend of sport in action, and we'll definitely stay tuned into Joy 99.7 FM for all the sports that you need to hear. But the police administration says it will consider appealing a contempt decision by a high court against Inspector General of Police David Asante Apietu. 2 private citizens, Samuel Agri Jr. and Augustine Jeche, who brought the case against him, told the High Court Mr. Apietu had willfully disobeyed orders to provide security for the execution of a court order for the sale of 12-block flat belonging to them. There's more in this News Desk report.
Mrs. Agri, now deceased, filed the case against Redco Company Limited for failing to pay an amount of money owed her. The court in the judgment attached the property, which is a 12-block flat at Medina. That is, if Redco failed to pay the money, the court would sell the property in order to retrieve the funds for her. Redco appealed this decision but lost. Without waiting for the court's direction, Redco went ahead to give out the property to the Ghana Police Service to house some of its officers. The applicants then went back to the court to seek an order for the police to vacate the property and rather help execute the High Court's order to sell the facility. According to documents available to Joy News, the police failed to do this, instead claimed ownership of the property. The lawyers then filed another case citing the IGP for contempt. They argue once the flat is in the custody of the court, it is illegal for anyone to sell or buy the property, adding the police should have done due diligence. They also argue the police has failed to perform its statutory duty and, for that matter, have willfully disobeyed the court orders. Presiding Judge Justice Daniel Mensah said, quote, "It is my humble opinion that the defense offered by the respondent after the applicant has successfully proved his case is not legally tenable, and the respondent has therefore failed to fully discharge the burden required to avoid a conviction and must therefore be committed for contempt of court and sanctioned accordingly," end quote. The court is expected to give its sentence on October 25, but it is unclear at the moment if the IGP will be given a custodial sentence.
That's a news desk report. Well, our sources within the police service review the police has deferred the matter to their legal team who are currently studying the issues. We understand the service is considering appealing that decision. Now, let's head to the Ashanti region once again because the Love FM high school debate is getting keener. Today, a cluster, the region's big school, lock horns in the contest. Kwesi Deborah is following all the action and joins us on the line now. Kwesi, so what schools are clashing today?
As you rightly said, MFR, I'm at the Christian Service University College Auditorium where the Love FM High School debate is taking place. Students of the competing schools are around and seated, and we also rightly informed some are on their way. Today is a semi-final clash. First, I call them the Yasantua Masters, Opoku High School, and they will be battling it out with Tepa Senior High. And for your information, Tepa eliminated the current presidential debate champions, that's KNUST Senior High, at the quarterfinals. And today the motion is school authorities are to blame for sexual harassment. And later, Armed Forces Senior High will also, they will also come against the TR Madia Senior High School. And for your information again, Armed Forces kicked out Pempe College and also decapitated St. Monica's. And let me say this, one of the finest speakers in the competition, Hanan Hawau from TR Mars, is expected to display her magic. Maybe the strong speakers from Armed Forces will gladly absorb and banish the magic. We're yet to see. And for this competition also, the motion is politics is an avenue for making money. So at 1 p.m., the contest will start and expect nothing but surprise.
But has a JAMA started already?
Oh, no, they are yet to begin the JAMA. Okay. But I tell you, the TR Mars guys, they are very good. They are very good with JAMA. So we're expecting them to do a whole lot for us today.
Thank you very much, Kwesi Deborah. That's an excerpt from the Love FM's high school debate. It starts at 1 p.m. Of course, we'll bring you details of it later on in our subsequent bulletins.
If he don't look good, we don't look good. This is our president. He has to be the freshest, the flyest planes, the best factories, and we have to make our core be empowered. We have to bring jobs into America. You are tasting a fine wine. It has multiple notes to it. So when I said I like Trump, to like someone that's liberal, they'll say, oh, but he's racist. You think racism can control me? I love this guy right here. Yeah.
And he actually went to hug him as well. So that's American rap icon Kanye West, who wants to be called Ye. He met U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday. Well, the world particularly don't seem too excited about his continuous public display of support for the man some have described as racist. Listen to American journalist Don Lemon speak on the matter.
States, the president of the United States exploiting him and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, exploiting someone who needs help, who needs to back away from the cameras, who needs to get off stage, who needs to deal with his issues. And if anyone around him cares about him, the family that he mentioned today, they need to grab him and snatch him up and get Kanye together because Kanye needs help.
He does. That's Don Lemon, an American journalist. What's trending on social media? Are people talking about it?
Before I tell you what's trending, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, MFA. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Chelsea Handler, who says Kanye West says he thinks of Trump as a father. Guess who doesn't think of Kanye as a son? And at Aka_Blaze says, yay for president. And this one is from at Josh_Kwesi, who says, yay, continues to embarrass us all.
I thought at a point Donald Trump was surprised at his actions, though. But that's it for the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I am MFA Apau. Thanks so much for your company. Have a good afternoon.
It's your day off and you end up looking after the baby while your wife goes off to work. You realize you have no idea how to change a diaper. So you